see today as we're getting ready for game number 1 for our second round feature match. The reason I bring it up, though, is that Archmage has a lot of cool things that they can do, whether it's interacting with back row and destroying those, or whether it's negating effects of monsters on the field. So we're going to keep our eyes on how the Duelist decides to pilot a very wide toolbox of effects.
Looks like the dice roll might have happened off screen, but we should be switching over soon, and Duelists are paused here. But you're absolutely right that, the Archmage has a real good complement of effects just built into the deck. Spell and trap removal, a full global board wipe, also global effect negation. But hey, let's find out now as we get into the duel.
Yep, we got Siraphob over there on the left and Robert on the right. I'm not sure who got to go first, but we'll find out very soon.
I believe it was Siraphob, but as I also apparently don't know how rock, paper, scissors works, maybe I should not speak on this. Oh, okay, it looks like we did not actually do official roll.
We could be doing a re-roll.
We might.
Because it was off camera.
Third time to charm.
Third time, apparently.
Even the Duelists are a little, got a good sense of humor about it.
All right, Harwell's good.
All right, here we go.
So here's
and
the real
pitch.
dice roll.
Yeah, it's a real dice roll.
That's a real dice roll right there. Can we match?
Oh,
We match it!
Starting off evenly matched. This always
Double
happens
11s.
when me and Steven are on
Can we do
camera.
box cards? Okay.
That's a
11 and
10.
10.
That's still
Is this
high.
going to be 9? Oh
No
my God!
way!
So this is the 5th dice roll, and as
So if the match is this
oh
exciting,
my God, box cards! We got 12.
can Robert do it?
Come on, Robert. We're cheering you on. What are the odds? Oh! Wait, there's 1-6.
No, it's a 9. It's right there.
It's a 9. It went off the table.
But I saw it, yeah.
We're going to hold it. Yeah, okay. Wow. That was an exciting game of rolling dice.
All right, let's hope the duel delivers just as much.
Be like, oh,
Sometimes I
Remember
like
that
to go to
12?
locals and just roll dice against my opponent. You
that's the
know?
exciting part.
Okay.
All right, so Siraphob is starting off. He's doing the patented set, aka the Malice Tango, because he's going to then normal summon Dormouse.
This is always, of course, scary because you never know if that face-down card is a trap that will help you dodge away from things like an infinite impermanence, effect failure, what have you.
It basically just like threatens your opponent, hey, do you have an interruption? You better use it.
Yep.
Sort of begs that question, but it looks like we're going to go ahead and banish Rabbit, pay 300 life points, and bring it back to continue the Malice combos.
So, Steven Rodriguez, I know you play a lot of Malice, and obviously we've seen it on many streams already, but in general, remind us, what are kind of some of the end goal for the field of what they're trying to assemble with this deck?
I would say the basic minimum you're always trying to establish is some way to access your double non-target banishes, whether that's by having Hard Scripter as well as a full graveyard and White Binder plus access to MTPO7, or it could just be a way to have some layered forms of interruption. I've seen boards that are as complicated as Allied Kotaker Adagnister plus 3 Link 3s or just SP Encryptor and have that be more than enough to stymie any single deck you play against. So it's all about making sure you have as many interruptions as possible whilst not playing into what your opponent could be having.
Exactly.
So right now, Siraphob's probably going through his checklist of going Splash Mage into Red Ransom here, and he's just always thinking to himself, okay, my opponent's not doing this, not doing this, not doing this. They must not have these certain interactions in hand.
Yeah.
And so now he's just playing around probably the most scary ones, i.e. Nibiru the Primal Being.
It is interesting that the first couple of moves you make with Malice, you can usually sense out what interaction your opponent might have, or more importantly, like you said, not have.
Exactly.
Based on what they're doing.
Yeah, but Duelist could be patient depending on how hungry Siraphob gets. There could be an Ash Blossom really late into the combo against something like a White Binder banish, so we'll have to see what happens.
And depending on how much you have in your hand, it changes the decision-making from Duelist. So Robert, like if you only have one interaction in the hand, you might hold it for later in the combo, as opposed to trying to stop right away.
And here we see one of the sort of new fun additions to Malice that we got in Alliance Insight and Malice in the Mirror. That's going to be banished off the Malice Underground. They search off Red Ransom. This will allow him to banish yet another card from his graveyard and get even more extension.
And correct me if I'm wrong, March Hare can add a Malice card from the banishment to the hand, right? So that means that the Malice in the Mirror could get back for that free negation effect. Speaking of March Hare, there it is.
Dormouse effect is special.
Yeah, and like the reason why it's really important for Malice players, or really anyone who's trying to play like a really ultra combo deck like this, to suss out what your opponent could have in their hand, / what they don't have in their hand, is that you want to ask yourself, how hard do I want to go? Because you can have boards that are just insane with like multiple Link 4 or higher monsters, but most of the time you just don't need that. Like if you know your opponent has a very heavy engine hand and you're going to go to that board state anyway, you're probably already going to do just fine.
So I want to flip it on the other side to Steven Darley now, because you've played enough Archmage now that you have an idea of like kind of what that goal is. What do you feel about Archmage playing into a Malice field?
So it's interesting because Malice doesn't necessarily apply pressure, it just keeps going, right? There's some other decks, like when you're playing against a Ryzeal matchup, every time they summon monsters, you don't want to let them have that.
Yeah.
But here, you know, Archmage does have a really good go second style where you're able to just keep playing through step and fuse. So there's a possibility if, like other Archmage duelists, Robert is running super polymerization, maybe it's just two monsters with the same name and types, you know. But you also can use Fine Meld to specifically clear all of the effects from them, because it'd be negating all those effects, but also have the attack and defense, which is important because some of those Malice monsters are big. So I think, honestly, you're kind of just playing good Archmage, right? You're going to try to use your Groff Lair to destroy any spells and traps that you're worried about. Of course, those could be chainable with Malice. But I think Fine Meld is going to be the answer here because, again, negating all of the face-up monster cards and halving their attacks, that feels pretty good, especially against things like Ally Talker or Cyber's Wicked.
Yeah. And we just saw there an exchange between the duelists of Robert clarifying just the effects of the new Ad Ignister cards, also added from Alliance Insight to the Malice deck. So Wizard backup both being seen here. And the combo just continues for Siraphob. No response yet from Robert, but it's good. I'm happy to see duelists ask those clarifying questions just to make sure that they know all the effects on the opponent's field. It is a feature match. You're on camera. You know, it's elevated stress levels for a lot of duelists here.
Well, especially since it's a long road to Paris, right?
Yeah.
Oh, yes. Now, I believe Siraphob still has access to White Binder potentially from the extra deck, Hard Scripter, as well as March Hare. So he still has probably a lot of extension to do here, and I think he's sussed out that Robert's hand maybe is not that powerful in terms of interruption, and so he's going to go for the big combos.
That's fair. Archmage does not necessarily have a lot of room for interactions from the hand because you're mostly running things like spells or traps to power your field spell or your Archmage cards themselves. And then when you try to pump in the Fiendsmith engine, as we know Robert is playing, he may have very limited space for any points of interaction. So he may just be trying to play through games and not worry about anything else.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm actually starting to wonder now what that set card was that Siraphob set at the beginning of his combo here, because it's probably MTP07, because we know the other set's already 06, and so there's probably a line for him to go for a White Binder or a Hard Scripter play here and just get straight into Allied Co without risking your White Binder going to an unfavorable zone.
I'm sure I don't have to remind you, though, Steven, that it could also be a bluff. That's the thing about the Malice deck, is that you never know what they set down on that first turn, because it could be things like Infinite Impermanence, Called by the Grave. Well, probably not Called by the Grave. Typically you would hold that, but could be not associated with the Malice deck.
I actually really like this play here from Siraphob, using his Link 3 Hard Scripter as his bridge into White Binder. So that way he can just instantly set up the rest of his Banish Zone, as well as get the rest of his effects proc for the turn that he hasn't already used yet.
And then new chain, I'll go.
Because he hasn't used March Hare or Hard Scripter's Banish effect yet.
We'll go chaining to March Hare.
Definitely a masterclass of Malice plays, though we certainly got to see some great Malice action yesterday during the WQP, but it shows you that this is still a deck in contention, whether it's a shorter tournament or the long haul of Swiss rounds.
Oh, yeah.
Interesting choice here. Siraphob is going to prioritize having the March Hare come back to his hand rather than the Malice in the Mirror that you mentioned he could grab earlier.
Well, because he could maybe just use the next turn, right?
Exactly. Or he's planning on having his White Binder stay in the graveyard this turn and then using the March Hare during his opponent's turn to banish it. It'll all depend on how he uses his interruptions, of course.
It is kind of nice that Malice can play in different directions just depending on what's going on. It has a lot of combos, but also a lot of freedom of play as you get further in the duel.
It is it's a very complex deck, so all the props to the people that have mastered it and really know all the different combo lines, but that's why I love watching people play it, because I feel like everyone does it slightly different than everybody else.
Yeah, it's definitely one of those like non-linear decks, essentially, because it just matters what you have in hand, and it matters what your opponent's doing to you at the same time. Oh, this is going to be a really cool interaction here. So we're going to banish using the GWC06 this turn by getting rid of the White Binder. We're going to summon back one of our monsters from the graveyard here. It's going to be Chessy Cat. And then on a new chain, well, first we're going to gain 1,500 because we do control Malice Link 3. But then on a new chain, we're going to activate White Binder to summon.
And then new channel.
This is where you could do something like an Ash Blossom, because technically the draw effect is connected to the special summon effect, but it does not look like Robert is doing it.
Yeah, there was a bit of a risk there in losing it because he did use his GWC06 to banish the White Binder, and so the White Binder wouldn't come back to then allow him to reset it like it's going to right now.
Oh, no, you're good.
And that's one of those moments I personally like to hold the Ash Blossom for that specific card, that specific interaction.
Because you're not just denying the Link 3 body worth, you're also keeping them off GWC06, which is so huge for your turn. Ooh, but we're going for the double co-linked firewall line. That's already representing 2 bounces and a potential of add back of 2 cards from his graveyard to his hand if he wants, which is plenty of resources.
Yeah, and that seems to be.
That GWCQ6 is being set using White Binder's effect to set a Malice Trap from either deck or graveyard.
Yeah, I saw him go for the graveyard. Thought we were already activating the Firewall for just an extension, but it looks like the extension's going to come from the Wizard at Ignister Cyber's
Yeah,
monster.
right. He kind of doesn't even need to use Firewall on his turn.
Yeah.
He can just
Yeah.
save it so he has more disruption during Robert's turn if he wants it.
Calm down, Playmaker.
Because Wizards are so great, and thanks to Ransom, he has a right pointing arrow, so he has plenty of ways to keep Link summoning.
I'm currently working through the Vrains right now. Fantastic.
Oh my God, is
Fantastic
this
show.
going to be ally code?
Yeah,
it is.
wow.
Well, no spoilers on the ending, but let me just say hi to I.
It's gonna be 2, and then
I don't know what that means, but
Good, no spoilers.
This is quite the beautifully played combo here from Siraphob.
Look at that
because
field.
Normally, the ally code Dr. Agnister would have to summon as many Link as you have in the graveyard that have 2300 or less attack, but because he already has the Firewall Dragon in the correct zone, he now has a triple co-linked Firewall Dragon that can potentially bounce 3 cards. He has the Negate as well as the known GWCQ6 and the Lingaribo in case there's any evenly matched shenanigans.
Well, let's see what we go into Archmage Town here. Robert has his work cut out for him, but the good news is that Archmage is one of those decks that can just keep playing every card. It's not a deck that has a unique choke point, except that you do have to have at least one Archmage card on the field, whether it's a field spell, continuous spell, or another monster. So if Siraphob does pick up on that, he may start to clear things, but it looks like we're starting with Fiendsmith to kind of smoke screen out what we're playing.
And again, we've seen Fiendsmith all over the place. One of the most powerful engines that you can run, and it's just so versatile in the decks. So starting off with the Fiendsmith engine is very, very nice because now you can do all the Archmage stuff after you've already used the Fiendsmith cards.
I am really looking forward to Siraphob's reaction when he sees his first Archmage card.
Yep.
I will say one.
I'm going to be looking at Darling to see the look on your face when it hits.
Okay. Well, looks like we're still going to start on the Fiendsmith path here, activating Fiendsmith track to search out, I would assume, Fabled Lure. Oh, no, looks like maybe we're just going into the Lacrima.
I think Robert's hope here is to try to eat out as many of these interactions as possible before he starts doing his real Archmage stuff. Because like you said, that Firewall alone could represent the end to the Archmage combos.
Well, think about this. We know that Archmage has to have 3 monsters on the field for some of its best effects. That Firewall Dragon is strong enough to lift 3 monsters off the field.
Right? So if you so it checks at resolution, right, for the amount of types you have?
No, it's an activation condition for certain effects. So it depends, but that could be problematic because if you only get 2, then all of a sudden you can't do Find Mail, etc. So there may be a way that Firewall Dragon can keep this duel under control from Siraphob's position.
Right now, we're still just doing the classic feats with Requiem Tribute to summon any feats monster from the deck. So we're going to get it Requiem. That's right, Engraver, and then hopefully Engraver will re-equip the Requiem, and then you should try to force out an interaction by
that typically, if you're going first, you would go more into the Lacrima so that you can try and climb up either into the Lynx and the Fusion or into an Xyz play. But because, like you just said, Steven Rodriguez, you can actually equip it, and then Engraver's now threatening at least some type of field destruction.
Ooh, but are we, do we have a Bestial in hand if we're Siraphob and saying to halt on the Requiem equip?
We have 1 monster zone available. We could do it. Says it's good.
Okay.
This will force out the allied code by just activating the effect and targeting potentially itself, as well as the set card, the equipped card.
Does seem like Siraphob wants to get something done.
It was the MTPO7 set. That hard draw is really huge, and thus leads me to believe why he went for the allied code line, because normally forcing your White Binder to be in play is kind of not the best when you want to, summon it back up to WCQ6, and so you're kind of forced to allied code earlier than you'd like, but this turns off all that nonsense, and he's able just to non-target banish the Engraver at the resolution of the Requiem effect, and they won't be able to get any pop. And he still has the allied code negate, which contribute the White Binder, and then you can bring it back using WCQ6 and do all the fun shenanigans that we know Malice can do during your opponent's turn.
Well, it may be time to show the Archmage side of the deck since we just lost Fiendsmith Engraver, but... we don't want to showcase it. That's interesting.
I think that's a pretty heads-up play from Robert there. A, giving himself the most amount of time possible, and B, not revealing his whole deck.
That's been common in the tournament so far because that also happened in round 1, not trying to showcase any of the Orca sides of those cards against that amazing Lunalight duels we saw in round 1. Basically the same thing here. Robert just saying, you know what, you've seen the Fiendsmith stuff. It's not time yet. He's going to get a chance to go first. And Archmage sets up a very powerful game 1 board. It really does.
Oh, yeah.
And I'm wondering if, again, now, if you're on the side of Siraphob, only seeing the Fiendsmith, in my mind, I would not be thinking Archmage as the thing I want to side deck into. I'm thinking Fiendsmith Orcus, I'm thinking Fiendsmith, maybe even like Ryzeal still, stuff like that.
I mean, honestly, usually as a mouse player, you kind of don't usually care what your opponent's playing when you're going into game 2 and 3. You're more worried about what they're going to put in against you. You know, the potential things like Artifact Lances and whatnot that can stymie you. And so you kind of tailor your side deck as a way to add in game plans to that. We saw for a long time when Crossout was at 3, people would just side into 3 copies of Crossout and Call by the Grave to have as many ways as possible when they're going first in game 3, as an example, to stop Artifact Lancia. So in this situation, I could see Siraphob maybe just like ignoring the potential of something sneaky and just paying attention to the Fiendsmith stuff and not really regretting it.
And it is important to note, though, some sideboards will have more Bystials in them, just in case you're going up against something that's effective against. If you're looking at Fiendsmith, you're probably thinking that, and the Archmages are a lot of light monsters. So
yeah, Latera too,
there is the potential that even just showing the Fiendsmith gave your opponent more information that could hurt you. But like you said, Rodriguez, it's more about worrying about what your opponent's going to sideboard into you as the Malice player.
When you're Malice, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, true. Not all the Archmage cards are that, but some of the strongest ones. Archmage Fine Mail comes to mind. It is a light monster. And there's going to be some interesting interactions when we kind of get into the slug match here, because Malice, you know, still has room in its deck for interactions from the hand, like Ash Blossom and Joyous Spring, and that stops Archmage Fine Mail dead cold.
Right.
So there's a lot of things that could just natural predators in the format can just take down the Archmage.
The only non-lights are Power Patron, which is an Earth, that's a level 1, and
That's
then
safe.
the Fusion Nerva, the Power Patron of Creation, which is
And
also an Earth.
I think Medius the Pure is dark, and Medius the Pure does have a powerful graveyard effect, so it's not a quick effect, though, unfortunately. So yeah, this could be a little difficult. We'll have to see what Robert's able to do here.
Why do you think he's dark as opposed to a light monster like the Archmages?
Because
there's got to be a lore reason, right?
He's not an Archmage monster.
That's a good point.
If you take a look at Archmage, I think it's Vandalism Assault. It is the card that allows you to treat one monster on the field as an Archmage monster. But we'll talk about more of that later this year.
It looks like our duelists are more than ready to go. In fact, they're getting a little impatient. They're like, let's get this game 2 going. If you're Robert, I want to show off what my deck can do going first.
Hey, speaking of going first, it's getting into game 2 now. Assume Robert did choose that. I am very excited to see the roll call if he gets the field spell on the field.
The Archmage strategy is very much built around that field spell. Incredibly powerful search tool. Not once per turn ability to search for different named Archmages.
In fact, currently,
there it is. First card.
Arts Acropolis.
Yeah, he said the whole name. Good job.
So for anybody who is at home and isn't super familiar with the Archmage cards, during your main phase, you get to normal summon a Medius the Pure in addition to your other normal summons, so that's very helpful, as he's also explaining it currently.
For an Archmage name, I can do
that's the important part he's mentioning now.
5 different ones in main deck, so 5 times as of right now.
There we go.
And it will soft lock me for the rest of the turn to where I can't special summon stuff from the graveyard or the main deck unless it's Archmage or Medius the Pure.
Sounds good.
Beautifully said, Robert. That is a field spell deserving of the name Acropolis.
Yes.
Definitely.
The most important thing is that it is a non-once per turn discard a card to search for an Archmage that you have not already searched.
And a lot of the Archmage cards have effects in the graveyard too to kind of take advantage of that, and you could pair it up with some really interesting builds like White Forest because they, love being discarded as far as their spells and traps go. We're gonna start with Fine Mail, and yeah, just drew a card.
You might like this then. All right, so let's.
Love the good sportsmanship here.
Archmage, Vandalism Assault.
Now, all the Archmages have quick effects if you have enough names on the field.
Not necessarily names, types, and different types. So it's 3 different types. So that can be helpful if you include stuff like Fiendsmith, because that means he has a guaranteed way to get an additional monster on the field. So now I'm starting to really understand why there's Fiendsmith. I might put it in my own deck.
That's a good point, actually. So Fine Mail, in particular, a quick effect, you can negate the effect of all face-up monsters your opponent currently controls, and their attacks become halved. So very, very powerful effect.
Now, one other effect.
And we're going to grab Medius the Pure here.
It gives me an additional normal summon of him specifically.
Okay.
Yep, just explaining that if he wanted to, he can additional normal summon that card thanks to his field spell.
Extra normal effect.
Okay. So Medius the Pure is going to be able to.
Patron monster from my deck.
He's got it. He can cast this whole match by himself. He is going to go ahead and grab the Archmage Power Patron, which does lock you into fusion summons. It can be very difficult, but it's not an effect that lingers on. It's only while it's face up on the field.
Know what he does too?
Right, so as long as he fusion summons before he goes into anything else, he'll be able to access his Fiendsmith side of the engine too.
I can use him
Exactly.
And all you need is any two monsters to do that, as we know, thanks to a little card by the name of Moon of the Closed Heaven.
I can search for a
And
spell trap.
as Robert also explains the second effect, once he goes to the graveyard, he can search for an Archmage spell.
As we got to see in the exhibition match, the effect can be changed sometimes.
Don't remind me.
And also, importantly, 3 different types on the field. There we go. We have the 3 types. That means we can go for a fusion.
Yeah, I believe we had Illusion, it was Warrior, and Menace is a Spellcaster, right?
Fairy, actually.
Fairy, that's
the
right, that's
Spellcaster is Latera.
And also, Patron in particular
Oh,
does not require the 3 types on the field
Chain
to
Link 1, Power
fusion, but
Patron,
still, gotta keep track of how many are on the field. when it
Yeah,
comes
right
to
now
Hey,
we
it's
have
just your
2.
first day in class. Give yourself a break.
Yeah, you know,
Traps on the field. He's an
Using the
omni-negate
study
cards
guide.
on field, right? He has, that's a quick effect. His other effect is I can target one of your cards.
This
and
card's
change
giving me
battle
war
position,
flashbacks seeing
and
this
his
one.
last effect is if he gets destroyed and sent in the graveyard, I can special summon a Metis from banishment, deck, graveyard.
As a,
much
what is it? It's
just remember,
Archmage
it's only,
Diactress.
gates
It is,
on
it
the
is.
field.
And it is a
They'll negate
really,
activation
really
destroy.
interesting card. Again,
Oh,
it's
okay.
not going to
On
get
field
that
or-
negated
on field.
activation effect unless there's 3 different monsters on the field with different types. And right now, there's only just 2. We got a Warrior and a Fairy.
and importantly, it only negates the effect of cards that are activated on the field.
Yeah, it is
So
important.
things like Nibiru can actually still interact with this.
Well, think about Nibiru. I mean, think about the entire
This is also
Malice
poly.
game plan
Yes.
itself.
Quick
Most
speed
of those cards are
poly
going to be
in
activated either
graveyard.
from the
It'll let me
hand or maybe the graveyard, the
banish it,
banishment,
target 3
etc.
green cards, put it back in my deck.
That is the quick play fusion spell, right?
It is
Yep.
the Archmage
Just a
succession
real quick
there.
question, does this one have a graveyard?
And it can only be
That is- does
activated
that
during the
graveyard.
main
So I can
phase, so
stuff away
it gives
monsters
you
from
kind of
the
like the
field,
feeling of Elemental Infusion.
back
Yeah.
into the
But
deck,
it gives you
special
access to very much the same game plan of Guardian
Good continue.
Chimera
Yes, you can
or
continue.
just whatever else you
Alright,
need
let's
fusion-wise.
go, I'm going to say a field spell because the name's really long.
That's fair. I love the
You
field
can say
spell.
Acropolis.
Raffle.
So, I'm using my Acropolis.
I feel
Having
like
a good time.
There's
Going
two
to school.
different. There's 2 different
You said
mentalities.
anything
Either
at all,
it's
did you
too
say
long,
that?
or I'm gonna say go go go
Yeah,
go
like, get it right.
golem. You know.
Alright.
Speaking of names, what I love about this
So,
field
let's
spell is it gives you
go.
like the image of the school because it's kind of like roll call, right? At first he was like Archmage Feinmelt, Archmage Feinmelt. Okay, you're here. Archmage Growlflare. All right, cool. You're here too. Good.
Now,
And
going
Growlflare
field
is
effect,
here,
I'm
he
gonna
just
tell you
showed up.
you're gonna
Yeah.
have, if I have 3 types,
That's going to be a quick effect to
row.
pop a spell trap, yeah.
If I don't have 3 types, I can just declare it and do it manually.
I gotcha, I understand.
Okay.
This looks pretty
I believe he's a dragon, right?
It is pretty
Yeah.
cool.
Oh
we're
yeah,
gonna
Mason.
set
Or excuse me, our
application.
opponent Siraphob saying,
like to know
yeah,
what that
it
does.
is a cool deck.
It is. It is one
So
very
the
very cool
Altercation
deck.
doesn't have the field spell. It'll activate.
It's
the
one of
field
those
spell from
ones that it's.
Now,
I mean,
Altercation has the field
all
spell. I can
decks
search
are
for any
fun to
Archmage
play,
card
but
in
this
my
one I
deck.
love playing against as well
Graveyard
because
and
it's just
then-
so fun to like have these different points of interaction that you have to be tracking as a duelist.
I'll
Like,
go ahead
ooh,
and
okay, so we can
activate
negate things, we can pop
Altercation
things. Like,
and such.
there's a
I
lot
think-
going on.
Some duelists may appreciate this deck because your main deck monsters matter maybe more than some other decks where they are pieces of the combo to make large extra decks. Right? Remember, we saw Siraphob. By the end of his turn, all of the Malice monsters that help him establish that field were actually in the banishment of the graveyard of the hand. They weren't part of that. With Archmage, you're actually using those cards. You can develop an attachment to them. Feinmel's going to save your life more times than not.
It's all about like assembling your class together so that way you guys can learn together and then do more impressive things like summoning the
Can you
big
special
power
summon him on my
patrons.
turn?
Yeah. Well, we haven't seen a Power Patron yet here, but it's a pretty decent hand that I'm seeing. I see a Succession and a Power
go,
Pact Awakening.
And we know he has the fusion spell too, so you can always summon one during his opponent's turn if you
so
wanted
it'll
to.
special itself, and it'll let me add an Archmage card from my graveyard back to my hand.
Yep.
Does it target?
Let me clarify.
I believe it's all
real
one
quick.
effect, so it probably
Yes,
doesn't.
it is. I think it targets.
Okay. So like you target as you're trying to summon it?
No.
Okay.
And
Oh, it
has another
doesn't.
effect involving battle damage.
It does not target.
Right,
yeah.
right, because it's all one effect to summon and add,
I'm
right?
reading
That's
it right
true.
now. Yeah.
So like it doesn't matter where you add from. That's right. It
I'll
has
just
to be
go
from
ahead
graveyard, but like
and
it's
add
like part of
Altercation-
summoning the
well,
card.
Yeah, we'll add Altercation back.
But also Archmage
So its other
card, not
effect, which I can
monsters.
do
So
on
Yes.
return,
don't
is,
have to.
So it'll do its effect. It'll special an Archmage from hand or graveyard, doesn't target, and then it'll bounce itself back to hand.
Yep.
Okay.
Banquet Soul.
Robert is very good at
Alright,
explaining
kinda
these. This is
It really is.
fantastic, yeah.
But I think you have to. When you show up to the North American
Yep.
World Championship qualifier with a brand new deck that's only been out for 10 days that
Alright,
no one has been using,
pass.
you got to expect to explain your cards.
Yeah, a little bit.
A little bit of conservation here from Robert, not choosing to bridge into any other lines like Fiend's. I'm not sure if anything's
This is,
locking him right now. I don't believe
No,
anything
he's
is.
not locked
What is
in
it
any
on-
way. This is a
So I have
choice.
3
But the
types from
choice
field.
is
I
that
can
he's got
negate all
Latera that can
monsters on your
bounce.
side.
Yeah,
Oh,
he
yeah.
has Vine Mail. That's also a banish. Sorry, a negate for the entire board.
Yep.
We have a spell trap negate,
And
and we have
do these
Diactress,
also
which is
do
also just an
anything
omni negate.
Yeah.
And he has a
This
quick play
can
fusion
protect the
spell, so having
destruction
more
back.
monsters in play is more than enough for him.
It feels pretty good. I think he's calling his
Good to draw?
turn.
Yep.
All right, draw for turn.
So let's see what Malice
anything draw phase?
does
I
against
wish. No,
this.
you're good.
Now, Malice, even though it's a really
Stand by.
explosive and powerful deck and has
Trying
some
to
crazy
enter main
combos,
phase
you
here.
really need powerful hands going second specifically to play through boards. Like, we all know, one Rizal
just
Detonator
verifying
can
one
stop
more
an
time.
entire
Is it
Malice
negate,
combo.
then
And
banish, or
so
is it
this is a
destroy?
lot of interruptions that
negate
Robert's
activation.
representing.
What's really solid as well is that a lot of times Malice will set that card, normal summon a Malice monster, but as soon as that's set, Robert can use the back row destruction to kind of swat it away. So hard for Malice to really play into this specific board too.
Normal summon March Hare,
Ooh.
not the thing I think Siraphob was hoping to start with,
Yeah.
Okay.
but it could represent a lot because we just go, link into a Lingaribo, and then if we find a way to banish that, we can add it back to our hand, and then we can have like some more fun. If we have like a Bestial maybe, that could get us into a Link 2 play.
anything on
I think I saw
resolution?
Goldsark in his hand. That could be more than enough extension to keep playing.
I'm gonna attempt to activate back to special.
And now we have the Lingaribo to enable the
Okay.
backup to be summoned, and we have the Lingaribo to stop any pesky trap cards that Robert may or may not have. We know he has probably the quick play spell and maybe something else. I don't think a trap card was searched at all during his turn.
Special.
No,
Pretty
but I think
good
I saw
first
him have the Archmage Pact Awakening in his hand, so he probably set that.
sure.
Not necessarily
Yeah,
a
both of
card
them
that's
probably
problematic
have
to negate because it does have that effect in the graveyard to target one of your Archmages on the field and one of your opponent's cards, destroy theirs, and return to your hand.
I think we just used Find Mel as Robert to negate the entire board. That is a quick effect, right?
It is,
Yeah,
it is,
okay.
as long as you have those 3 different monsters.
Which he does. He
Yeah,
has Spellcaster, Warrior, Dragon, and Fairy, I think.
Yes, yes.
Would
Oh,
stop
sorry,
back up
we'll
at
do your
Ignister
graveyard.
then.
You're fine.
Yeah,
And
not
also
getting
now
Wizard.
your traps are, playable again.
And not getting Wizard back keeps him off of Malice names unless he has a way to summon another one, which I think I saw Goldsark, so he does, but it plays into a lot of stuff. You could just go Diactress and negate that.
You could. Man, Gold Sarcophagus does some strong things for this deck, so we'll see.
There's the Druid Swarm. Is he going to target his own cards or target one of his opponent's cards? Getting rid of Medius the Peer could be pretty cool.
Yeah.
I don't think, but wait, doesn't the quick play spell let you fusion from the graveyard?
No, only from your
Okay.
hand or your field. However, Diactress, when it's destroyed, will be able to special summon a Medius from the deck, graveyard, or banishment. So
Dang.
it doesn't
Yeah, I'll
necessarily stop it here.
Medius is safe no matter where he goes.
Yeah.
They can always have him on the roll sheet.
And you always need to remember that quick play fusion because what it will most likely go into is Nerva, the power patron of creation. We haven't seen it yet in this duel, but it basically can change the effect of one of your other Archmages to just board wipe, field destroy your opponent, monsters and spells and traps.
And you can use like, and he still has
Yeah.
the Dragon
well,
Archmage, Grufflair, so we can just
effective
change
look
that
at
and
Yeah.
board
Yes.
wipe.
Or you could always do the Litaria, which is the just bound or summon one from hand.
Oh, nice. So Laterra going ahead and adding itself back to the hand and then special summon the
Yeah,
Archmage Power
let's-
Patron.
Yep.
He may be trying to bring out the Nerva.
Yeah, but now we have Druid Swarm, so if
go
you do
ahead.
board wipe, you'll lose your Nerva, right? There's no protection for it.
Oh, that is true, you would.
So it's a little maybe sketchy to get rid of the whole board right now. We're gonna fusion Power Patron and
Laterra, just 2 Archmage monsters?
And then-
Oh, you could do that! Wow, Ilya Sylvia for an
Yeah.
additional negation.
because it's an illusion
It
monster.
is
and
an illusion of
spellcaster.
spellcaster. I'm high-fiving myself, but that
Let's
is just some
go.
cool stuff because it's just neat to see once the deck continues to evolve, we get this, and now every duelist knows Ilya Sylvia can be used.
That
keep in
is
mind-
incredible.
And did
Hey,
we?
light spellcaster
Was that
and
using Power
illusion.
Patron's effect or using the quick play spell?
No, because
Special
Power
summon.
Patron can only
Okay.
special summon an Archmage fusion
right.
monster, but using Succession allows you to fusion summon with Archmage monsters.
Nice.
Love Robert there. He's like, I saw the question coming. Now it was a light spellcaster and
Yeah.
an illusion.
I'm telling you, he's going to be given the master class. We'll get him
Yeah.
up here before you know it.
They're
Yeah.
like, are we sure you can do that? He's like, I'm so sure. I just did it.
In the event that he wins, my request for Jackie is that we just ask him all the Archmage combos. Be like, all right, so just to explain this deck.
Please, please. We'll be here all night, but yeah, I would love to hear it.
So this is going to be the Link 2 here using Druid Swarm and Lingaribo. It's probably going to be SP Little Knight if I had to guess what monster it is. Oh, or Dark the Dark Charmer, because those are the dark monsters.
So
Lingaribo.
keep in mind, I don't believe we've used Diactorus yet, which
Nope.
is a on-field negate and destroy. So if that
Yes.
Dark tries to use its
You said
effect,
this has a graveyard
it
effect if
might
it's
get negated
destroyed?
and then be destroyed.
But we're using Druid Swarm in the graveyard to destroy the Diactress,
which
which
targeted?
he can't negate that.
That's a good
So
point.
We're going to be able to protect the dark that way too. So really heads up play from Siraphob. They're recognizing what kinds of interactions Robert has access to, but we do have the Ilya Sylvia.
We have the Sylvia.
But
yeah.
depending on what's going on, you could just just make another Medius the Pure
During your
because
burst
you bring Medius the Pure out from the graveyard using the effect of Diactorus, and then you special summon another
I'm gonna
Power
try to go
Patron if he
Dark
has one in the deck, and then you use the Quick Play Fusion effect to make just another copy of Diactorus.
You could.
Because that fusion was made through Succession, not through Power Patron.
I'm imagining we want to save that one fusion for Nerva, though.
Oh,
if I had
yeah.
to guess, because we haven't done that yet.
But check this out, guys. So he used Sylvia's effect,
gonna
and now
change
Siraphov's using Dark to
Arcade
summon the
back
Sylvia to
away.
his board.
Oh, but he's going to bring out his own
Oh.
So
anyway.
it's gonna special summon
And we got rid
Archmage
of his Linger
monster
Reborn.
or a Metis the Pure from my deck for the rest of the turn. The activation of your cards and effects that include an effective fusion summon. A fusion monster cannot be negated. Also, your opponent cannot activate cards or effects when a monster is fusion summoned this way.
I
And then its
love that
graveyard
effect.
which I
Yeah.
can't do the same turn, is banish, bounce one of my monsters back, and pop one of your cards.
Kind of shades of Branded Lost mix in
Yes,
that card. yeah.
as a branded fan, I love that effect.
Is that like Branded Fusion and Branded Lost in one card? Because it is going to special
Kind
summon
of.
Medius the Pure, who could bring out Power Patron, who could make the fusion summon, and you can't
Is this
react
next
to it.
turn? Oh no, you didn't activate
That's
it.
insane.
I believe it'll also get rid of the Dark, too, which means the Dark
Activate
won't be able to
the
resolve and summon the Sylvia to his own points too. Oh, no, I
That's
lied.
true,
No,
yeah.
I lied. It is being summoned, which is still pretty good. Because now that's a Sylvia for someone else, which means he has access to that negate now as well.
Yeah.
I thought I heard that it has a destruction effect. Does the trap card have a destruction effect too?
It does. So you
Okay.
banish it from the graveyard, target one of your own Archmage monsters and
Separate.
one monster they control. I believe you can return the monster that's the Archmage to your hand and then destroy the card you target on their field.
Whoa, that's cool.
Yeah,
Is it use one effect per turn, or can you use
It,
either?
it is one effect per turn.
So
Yeah.
we've
Gotcha.
already used it, so that'll just be for next turn.
And here's that gold sarcophagus that Siraphov held onto. This will get
Ooh.
him all the rest of the names he needs to start popping off.
So what has not been used yet, I believe, is the fusion monster negate on field and
Yes.
destroy effect, and then the quick fusion
Of Power
But
Patron, yeah.
The interesting thing is that in order to quick fuse into Nerva Power
I'm trying to
Patron
go the most
creation,
effective special.
what it does is that
the
once per
special
turn, when you
summon,
activate an Archmage monster's effect,
and then
you
I'm gonna
can
think
make the effect become destroy all your opponent's cards.
Yeah.
But if we don't have enough Archmages left to activate their effects, that's actually kind of awkward.
But that's where Power Patron comes into play. When it's sent to the graveyard, it can add an Archmage card from your deck to your hand to spell or trap, but then you change that. The most important thing, and I think duelists really need to pay attention when I say this, you have to chain that effect directly to what activated. So technically the high level of gameplay against Archmage is just to activate a card immediately in response to the Archmage Power Patron search effect to
Chain
make sure they
block
can't
it,
chain it.
yeah.
Yeah, you have to block the shot.
We also
Interesting.
have Sylvia too, so just
Yeah, the
just for
Sylvia's
reference.
also just does all that, but
All that's to say, it feels like in this current position, Siraphov's actually in a comfortable spot. I mean, you still have more plays to make. You have your own negate on the field with the Sylvia.
Really heads up play here, not activating the Dormouse to play into the on-field negate and pop, so that way he just has the guaranteed link 3 here. He
Yeah.
uses that effect, and if
Yeah.
he gets rid of that, he has March Hare in hand, so I can just summon back my Red Ransom that way, so it's totally safe. We're gonna get Mouse in the Mirror, which is another interruption.
Oh, Dormouse is brought up by the gold sarcophagus. Yes, yeah.
Yes,
Now I'm
exactly.
caught up. Now I'm
No
caught up.
worries, no
I
worries.
was like, we had normal summon a Marcher. Yeah.
Sirapov has done a lot for this turn, given how much Robert had on his
Yes,
board already.
I know.
But it is kind of a testament to the power of playing a deck you know. Even though it takes a second to figure out what the opponent's doing, you kind of know how you would deal with it because you know your card effects well.
Yeah.
So a lot of the duelists here have been playing, not old reliable, right, because Malice is technically
Cyber's
relatively
Wicked.
recent, as of December of last year. But they are relying on the versatility of the deck to, if you encounter something as different as Archmage, just figure it out on
Yeah,
the
they're
fly
both
and keep
Cybers.
on pressing.
Just double checking how
Yeah.
this Wicked was summoned.
no,
Both
it wasn't a
of
Dark,
them
it
are
was a
Cybers,
Ransom
and
effect.
that's all Wicked
Yeah, no,
requires.
he was good.
We have the March Hare in hand, which we could use
It's not an on-summon effect. I have
by
to
banishing the
summon
Red
something
Ransom to
under
summon
it,
itself, and then we'll
to
get the
activate
Wicked
it.
proc as well, which maybe get Wizard. Do we have an Wizard this turn yet?
I
Oh no, we
tried to
can't add
activate
Wizard. It's
March
not a
Hare
tuner,
effect,
right?
especially.
I do not, maybe Wizard, let me take a look.
I know backup is,
still good.
which is why you can add it with Wicked. We might just be doing Wicked for the protection effect that we can use later on in the turn with maybe like a Topologic Bomber combo if he has access to that in his extra deck. I'm not actually sure.
We will go.
This would protect from
this
the Nerva Power Patron of Creation destruction. So
That is
yeah,
true.
it kind of helps you
Chain
play
link
under that.
one.
He might not be thinking about that though. He might not even know that that's in there.
Confirmation, by the way, the adding Mr. Cyber's Wizard is not a
yeah.
tuner monster, just a Cyber's.
We can still get another Wicked for next turn. So we're going to negate and destroy the Wicked because the monster was summoned to it and we're banishing the search.
Yeah,
Are we okay with that?
It's just negating that effect or it negates the whole card.
Good question.
It'll negate the card and destroy it. Negates activation.
So we are
destroy it.
trying to use our fusion monster here,
I just
the
wanna make
Archmage
sure the
Diactorus.
Wicked,
Yeah, but I think
can't
what
be
he's asking
destroyed
is,
by
will the
card effects,
Wicked
so
get
we'll stay on the
destroyed? Because
field.
Wicked has a separate effect to
Yes.
say that it won't be destroyed. as long as it's pointing to
Yeah,
something.
because it doesn't negate the effects. It negates the
card and the
activated
card that
effect.
it
So it
makes
would just
that
be
Cybers
stopping
can't
that
be
part,
destroyed
but
by
not
card
actually
effects.
destroying it because it still
I
has
don't
that
know if
continuous
that
effect
negates,
to not
like,
be
the
destroyed.
entire
And
card,
now,
obviously
if
can be
another
destroyed by
monster, well, can it be used a second time then if you summon to it
no.
later? Yeah, okay.
No, well, that effect
So we are at
can't,
least
I should
stopping
say.
the search. Yeah.
Which I think is the part
Yeah, and
Siraphob
it will
cares
stay
the
on
least
field
about.
or-
Yeah,
He already
yeah.
That's
used
why
the
he
back
uses
of his
exactly,
turn.
yes.
Like he wants the body more than anything else.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
Yep, it stays. Cool. And
Yeah,
he's like, yeah,
that could
that's
be
fine then.
problematic.
Yeah.
And so just a sequencing thing here, I'm wondering if Robert going back and re-looking at it is wishing he had Diactorus's the initial backup ad ignister, because then it removes the body on the field, and because it can't interact with the graveyard effects, it's really making it awkward.
Well, no, he fine meld the backup. when it's done.
Exactly,
So
but
you're
he
saying
could have
use the Diactorus
instead
there.
used the Diactorus there, save the fine melt for later. For an instance like this, where it's not destroying, it's still just negating
Especially now that
essentially
Sylvia's
the
there
same
because-
effect.
Because like if you ever do use Diactorus on something that like Siraphob actually cares about, he can just protect it with Sylvia.
Yeah,
you
but
know?
that's the territory of playing a brand new deck is that, you know, there's all these different decisions you have to make with new cards
Ooh, I
that,
don't like that.
you know, you have to
Good
really
card.
learn
Good
these
card.
interactions to fully understand the power of your deck and how it
I'm
can
gonna
stop your
think
opponent.
real
Oh, and this is a beautiful play here too. You mentioned earlier that the Growlithe can, you know, sort of stymie or pin down those trap cards that Mouse has set, but not anymore. He has Malice monsters in play, so the second he sets it, it is now viable to be activated, but just by banishing one of your Malice cards. And he set MTPO7, so he's going to start breaking apart this board here that Robert has.
That Dark
no
Charmer
one
play
graveyard
also was so
So you're
good
not really
for
using it?
Siraphob, because having the Sylvia is it's just like additional. We haven't even used it yet.
No,
Yeah,
it's
it just
not.
showed up out of nowhere.
Yeah.
And that's the thing, too, is that not to say that it's on-the-job training, but you will have to kind of figure this out on the fly if you're in Robert's position, because Siraphob, if he's been playing Malice since it came out, he just has more months of experience with his
Yeah.
deck in official tournaments.
I mean, right now, Robert can't fusion summon. Because if he goes activate Power Patron, I can just Sylvia negate and
Exactly.
nothing
I
happens.
will activate Binder. on
And from,
summon.
if I'm
I
correct,
will
that's all the
banish
interaction
the-
left.
I'll
Have we
target the-
used
I don't think
the-
we've used Growlithe yet.
Okay.
But at this point,
so
there's really
target
nothing for you
your
to use
Yeah.
it on. Like if you target MTPO7, he'll just chain it.
They're just going to activate it, yeah.
I'll target the guy as
It's really
well.
good in this
Grab
matchup
Meadows, and
because it can kind of hold back the field spell,
I
like
guess
I'll
Malice and
have to go.
underground, but
Yep.
obviously at this juncture the field spell was a
Okay,
non-issue.
I'm going to chain Power Patron.
Oh, we're going to try. Here we go.
Summon.
Let's see.
Handgun.
Because he's not allowed to respond to the fusion summon, correct?
Or affects that fusion summon.
I'm
I
gonna try to chain
believe.
Malice
I think
in
it's
there.
just the fusion
can't
summon
respond.
itself.
Oh, okay.
Oh, no.
Yeah,
we're
no,
double-checking. Yep.
Robert is confirming.
Robert is
It just
confirming
can't
you
be
cannot
negated.
respond to the fusion, to the effects either.
Oh. My apologies.
Oh,
Oh,
okay,
no,
no.
I was correct the first time, I think.
Yes, so you can't respond to the fusion summon, yes, but
The
you
effect
cannot
of
Stop
fusion
the
summon, you
effect, so
can.
this
Yeah,
may
I'll
be
try
all
to
she
chain.
wrote.
This is actually huge, too, because had he been able to summon the Nerva, he
your,
couldn't
summon?
interact with the effect to change the
I'll target
effects
the guy.
then.
exactly.
Because it's all
And
part of the same chain.
What's important here is that some people I know have asked me questions about this. Well, this is negating the
No,
effect, but
target
it's
one
not
face up.
negating it in the sense of like
Yeah.
a solemn judgment would. or
Classic
rather
branded loss,
solemn
like you mentioned.
yes.
You know,
Well,
like
now
that
we-
same thing happens all the time.
Now we
just
kind of
says
know why
that
that card
you can't
has that
chain.
effect, though, because to be able to have that branded loss-like effect stops your opponent from being able to chain, so you definitely get the board wipe from your Nerva, the Power Patron creation.
Yeah.
But not here, right, because Malice in the Mirror was able to stop that.
We are still fusion
Oh,
summoning,
we are?
though.
Okay.
So, did we just not negate it with Malice in the Mirror?
I guess not, and Ilya Sylvia is still here, too. So I think
Yeah,
we
my
are going to
apologies.
see this.
While I was looking at my Stevens on my left, missed what was happening on screen there, but
Well,
there it
Malice
is.
in the Mirror was activated and he banished White Binder to pay the
you might
cost,
tell
but
me
normally
what
that
this
would
says
let you
before I
negate
activate
the
it.
effect of the monster, I believe, but
Can be fusion.
I guess
summon or
our
special
mage
summon.
Power
I
Patron
can
was still able to resolve because of the
contact
trap
you
card,
to
maybe.
make this. Let's see.
But now we've got Nerva, and
Once per turn, when a card
with Growlithe in
on
play,
the-
that is
that's in the
threatening.
field zone,
That is
a
this
board
card can't
wipe.
be destroyed by card
So I
effects.
figured it out.
Once per turn,
Okay.
The
when
activation of your
you
cards and
activate
effects that
an
include an
Archmage
effect that
monster,
fusion
quick
summons a
effect
monster
that
cannot be
can't
negated. So
destroy
the
by
conversation with the judges was he
Oh.
activated a card trying to negate.
Got it.
But it
And
doesn't do
activation
anything.
can't
But
be
it
used
is still a
But you
legal
can still
activation.
respond.
Yeah,
Place the
you still
card.
respond to.
But that means
Interesting.
this board wipe's going to happen unfettered because now he just goes Chainlink 1
Yep.
Growlithe, Chainlink 2 on the summon. Oh, no.
Oh, you could do the Growlithe or you could do the Archmage. It depends.
Yeah, but Power Patron. You can do Power Patron instead because it was sent to the graveyard. So you can go, and because it's all happening in the summon window,
Yep.
you still
Yeah.
can't negate it,
And
I
you're-
believe.
And your opponent cannot
So it
interact
reads
with
that you
your.
just can't interact with the fusion summon.
Yep.
But I'd want them to double check just so we're both on the same page. 'cause I'm
Okay,
not
making
100%.
sure.
Right.
And this is brand
Yeah,
new,
it's
too.
'cause-
I'm
it's
sure
like
even
a-
some of our
it's like-
judges
it's
are like,
like
oh,
a-
and
yeah.
It's
this
like a
is one of those
brand,
interesting
branded,
moments you'd mentioned earlier, darling, that
it's
you
like that
can
branded
try and
continuous
block
dice.
the ability for
Brand
Nerva, but
loss, yeah.
because this trap has
dagger's
changed
illegal.
that rule, now we need to check with
And the
judges
reason
just
why-
to make sure.
And the reason why this is huge is that if he's still allowed to respond, he can activate MTP07 in response, banish a Ballast activated this turn, and banish the Nerva. So that way it's not in play anymore.
Wow.
He'll still get all of his cards destroyed, but his White Binder will come back on a separate chain because it was banished right now.
Yeah.
And so he'll get that back no matter what.
Alice doesn't mean much to get started, so having that White Binder back might be difficult for Robert to deal with, but I guess we're just going to take a pause here as we wait for our judges to confirm what's going on.
The patience of Robert has been very impressive.
Yes, and I also just want to credit both of these duelists for doing a great job of communicating with each other and with us. I mean,
Thanks, guys.
Really walking us through what's happening in the combos.
I thought that trap card was able to protect everything, and I just wanted to make sure, like, no, there's ways to do stuff, but not stop the fusion summon. That will happen no matter what.
You're right. Shame on me for making you
Trap card applies,
question.
No. You're
First day of class. Besides, it's summer school anyway, right? We're Cypher slackers. We'll figure it out eventually.
It's coming up soon here, actually.
But I guess my question now is, so on the summon,
Yes.
Chainlink 1 will have to be all of Robert's effects, and then he'll be able to chain
so
White Binder to
Malice and
that,
Mirror
which
would
means
still
White
be
Binder might
good.
actually still get destroyed.
But it would still be in the same
So,
window.
wait,
We'll see. The judges will clarify.
we're hearing. I heard Robert say Malice in the Mirror would still be legal. So let's
was in my
check.
hand.
Wait. So wait. It did negate it. Bring up the trap card again really quick.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Read
that
it.
doesn't make a lot of
Last thing he
sense
did
when I
was Binder,
thought I read it right.
So-
so the activation of your cards and effects. Oh, but it's the activation of your. and
You're
it's
not
skipped, yeah.
negating the
Yeah.
activation. You're negating
The
the effect,
effect,
and that's
okay.
where things like infinite impermanence. So that's
That's
what I was
huge.
trying to
There
say.
we go.
It does work that way. Things like infinite impermanence,
No,
they don't
you're good.
negate the
I'm still learning
activation.
just as much
They
as y'all
negate the
about this
effect.
Yeah, they do, which is also similar to like the Brandon Lost equation, if I recall
Yes,
correctly. So
exactly, yep.
again, he was able to do that. We are rewinding the game state, so bear with us. This is going to
So
be a
the first
bumpy
instinct
ride.
was the correct one. The
Yes.
fusion summon will not happen thanks to Malice in the Mirror.
And I gotta tell Robert, I have been in that exact same spot with Brandon Lost. I have gone through this as well. Well, because you think in your mind, like, oh no, you can't negate my effect, but I'm not negating the activation of your
It's not
effect.
gonna work, you know?
And that's what your card says. I can't
Again,
negate the
it's-
activation.
It is the activation of your cards and effects that include. And you hear like the activation of your effects, but it's not that.
Yeah.
It's the activation. Yeah.
This is the wording that my friends at locals would be like, judge.
Judge.
And the
It's
judge would be
okay.
like, that's what it says, though.
Yeah,
And
right.
I'm like, yeah, okay.
The English language is a incredible thing, isn't it?
Oh, yeah.
Let's take a moment to appreciate that.
Let's say the Yu-Gi-Oh language, too. It's a language in and of itself, if we're honest.
That's fine.
Yeah.
It really is. It really is. If you've ever read cards in foreign languages that you don't know
Yeah.
that are in problem-solving card text, you
So
kind of
go back
speak
to
that
where we're
language
at,
without
you're
knowing
gonna
it.
be negating this.
Interesting.
But speaking of languages, let's go ahead and talk about what's going on here.
Yeah, so now the way it's going to work is Chainlink 1 was Power Patron, Chainlink 2 is Mouse in the Mirror, banishing White Binder for cost. That's now negated, and now on a new chain, White Binder will trigger, pay 900 to summon itself out, draw a
I'm
card.
trying to go binder effect. I'll pay 9.
Yep.
Because you did these originally for Binder, right?
Yeah.
Yes, the original
Oh,
target.
very smart.
That was all in
Yeah.
response to White Binder's effect as well.
Okay.
All right.
I forgot about that
I'll try to
part,
go
too.
binder effect especially.
Ah.
Binder
So yeah,
effect
at the end of the
effect.
chain, it's still banishing cards.
Yeah, that was the original
So
Chainlink 1.
if Robert had been able to summon the Power Patron, that would have been a complete game changer. But now we're back to a game state where Siraphov's actually in a really advantageous spot.
Oh, yeah.
We did get formal confirmation from the judges. Everything we guessed was true. It very much is Ash Blossom versus Branded Fusion plus Branded Loss.
Yes.
So apologies again. It's on the job training for us, but we're glad we figured this out so people know how this deck works, especially since it looks good enough that we're going to see it pretty often.
Yeah, and I gotta just commend Sirapov for being able to fight through all of these interactions that Robert put up. I believe we now have nothing available besides the Graflair to quick effect pop a spell trap. That's not gonna be enough to stop, I think, the rest of Sirapov's plays here.
Especially with the Ilya Sylvia still hanging out there.
He still needs the damage though, and I don't actually think he can get there without maybe going for like some kind of Actus code line. But let's see if he can do it.
Well, I think we're finally going to see that spell, but I think
mean,
Sirapov pausing, understanding Groflair's still out there.
And losing the Sylvia just to protect your underground when you only have one name you haven't used yet, it's kind of not worth it.
We'll see how he feels as he activates Malice and Underground. Robert has to
Chain,
consider.
Graflair,
Ah, he is.
Pop it.
Do we let that go through?
So Groflair is going to attempt to destroy the Malice in the Underground before it resolves.
I think Sirapov values the body more maybe, but he's going to choose to keep
Yeah,
the
is it just
Mouse and
negate or
Underground around.
destroy?
I believe Sylvia
It's
negates.
just negate.
Yeah.
It's not
It just
destroy.
negates. Which gives Robert all of his attributes, but I believe he has no other effects currently in play, and I don't think his hand has anything other than just normal spell cards.
That is the issue when
I'll try to
building
go
this
Chesney
particular
effect,
deck. It's
especially.
hard to balance because you include a lot of monster-based interactions from the hand. Well, then you don't have spells and traps to discard
And
with the
then I'll
field
go try to
spell.
activate
So
Chesney
it's a
effect
little bit
here.
of a double-edged sword. You have to pick
Chesney's
which
fine.
direction you're going.
You might be going back in anyways, I don't know.
I'll let you draw 2. That's what I'm
All right, I believe we used every single main deck Malice plus 2 of the Link 3s. We haven't used Cryptor yet, though, just to keep that in mind, so we still have that.
Chesscat also banishing a spell in hand to draw 2.
Yeah, second Underground.
Ah, that's what that is. I really should have brought my glasses to this event. I was joking about
Oh,
it
you're
earlier.
fine. Do we have to change the Max Steve team name to the Dueling Grandpas? I think that might be taken, though.
Ooh.
Who's your favorite grandpa from the anime?
Grandpa.
That's a good answer.
I'm kind of partial to Rebecca's grandpa. I think
That's the other one.
The
I was
unsung
thinking
Professor
hero.
Hawkins, okay.
Yeah. The underdog.
Solomon's my guy.
Okay, so
make
here
a
we're going for
Cryptor.
Cryptor, and we have the MTB07.
And then,
Oh man,
anything
MTB07 banishing
I
Hearts
actually have a
Cryptor,
question.
get the double non-target
Is
banish.
Mouse
So
in a
good.
mirror target?
It does target the card.
Oh, we screwed up a little bit, but it's fine.
Oh.
Then protect
Because
target
Fine Mail
with
can't be
6 or lower.
targeted for your Archmage cards.
Oh, you're right. So I didn't catch that. Level 6 or
So
lower
now when
Archmage
it-
monsters
when this
cannot
is
be
on the field,
targeted
you
by
can't
card
target by,
effects.
level 6 or lower Archmage monsters.
That is so
I
true, and
literally
he just
had
drew
to
2
read it
extra
just to remember
cards.
that.
Oh
off the
no,
chest.
now we're in
Oh.
AP Archmage class here because that is true. Are we going to rewind?
Yeah,
Well, that's up to the judges. It could be an accepted game state at this point.
exactly.
That is, yeah.
Oh
that-
no, yeah, I understand. Like I said, I don't know the deck.
Yeah, that's fair. So for those at home, let's read Archmage Fine Mail
In the same
together
way, bro.
again.
Yeah.
The level 6 or lower Archmage monsters cannot be
apologize.
targeted with card effects. Not yours.
No.
So,
Yeah.
yeah, it looks like it may be a little bit of a moment here, but it shows you how powerful this deck is
Yeah.
because it actually inherently had.
interaction.
I should've known
What he
that too,
could have
my
done was
bad.
just
Like
go
I said,
Sylvia,
I
and
should've
Sylvia
read
would
the
have probably
card
done it because that
a little
doesn't
bit
target, it just reacts to the effect.
Yeah, so there's still a possibility that this is going to end about the same way, but we're just going to have to wind it back and see it. And sometimes rewinding game states happen. I remember it was an old world championship. They rewound, I think, 5.5 turns.
Yeah. Ooh.
So never say never, as long as they can figure it out within the tournament policy guidelines. We'll
Yeah.
have to see, but that's up to our judges.
Yeah,
And
don't- yeah.
it's such a new deck again that again, up to the judges, but in moments like that, Robert's even saying, he's like, I forgot that.
Yeah,
I
Well,
did
no,
that
you
wrong."
were, he was in the middle of answering a specific question about a specific thing and not even thinking about what else was going on with the board. You know, it's even if you were playing a deck you normally play, your focus was somewhere else entirely.
Yeah.
It's true. I mean, we were just up on the featured match stage, and you do kind of like tunnel vision in, right? You got the headphones. You're just kind of thinking about what's
Yeah.
there. It's a very different experience. Not something to be nervous about duelists at home, but it is different, so stuff does happen.
Yeah, and it's always important too that to recognize that all that matters is making sure that you're maintaining the game state. And so making sure that when you're checking something out, don't just look at the one interaction, look at the whole board. See what else could be happening, whether that's for your own advantage to know what you can respond with, but also just for your own clarification of like, oh, actually you can't do that because this, and this is happening.
Yeah.
Certainly, every time you see a new deck, it has to kind of work out the kinks until all the interactions become obvious to everybody.
I always love moments like this, though. I mean, obviously, it's tough for the competitors on the stage, tough for the judges, everyone make these decisions. But there's always that one person in chat that's like really knows this deck, and they've been like, no.
I know. Chat, we know you're out there. Thank you, by the way. You're furiously
always
typing,
one.
guys,
There's
what are you
always
doing?
one.
What are you doing?
Yeah.
We were over here talking about, oh, Branded lost. Oh, Branded Fusion would have get stopped though. But also, we couldn't have done it in the first place anyway.
Teacher, Fine Mel's on the field.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah.
But it does show you that there are some really interesting decks that are coming out. This is just round 2.
And
you know?
I love that it's highlighting how powerful this Archmage deck is, because
Oh
this
my
is
God.
one, the new set came out, and we haven't seen too many cards from it really affect what people are playing in feature matches so far, but this is a really powerful deck that I definitely expected to see a couple of duelists choose to pilot. Happy that we get one in our feature match here. It already won its round 1, and I think we're seeing why it's able to take opponents by surprise. Like, if you know all of your interactions and how your deck stops your opponent from playing, you can really take people by surprise.
I mean, there was a reason why Robert was so confident. No, I get to summon Nerva.
Yeah.
I knew it. His instincts were totally correct. It just was the reasoning why was a little off.
Yeah, that's fair. His body knew, but he just couldn't get the words out.
He's like, I learned this lesson already, though. I wonder why I can't express it to you. It can be a little complicated sometimes. That's why.
It's
Yeah.
okay. Sometimes the teacher has to regrade the exam.
You know,
So, yeah.
what would be fun, though? Dingirsu doesn't target. Where are the
Oh,
Orcus
okay,
players
well,
out
we'll leave
there?
that for
Let's
the
see some
Orcus
Orcus
duelists.
players out there.
Yeah. Well, it
I'm rooting
seems
for you.
like we may be ready to go back to the game, it sounds like.
I am hearing that as well. Okay, so
Oh,
let's see.
hey!
Beautiful. I'm not sure what the ruling was quite yet, but so far nothing's been reversed since the last time we saw this board. Heartscriptor was still summoned.
Yeah, there were like a couple
So to translate that, then it sounds like what's called an accepted game state. We'll get a confirmation from judges later, but what that means is sometimes, mistakes happen, but you get too far in to rewind, so it looks like, yep, it is an accepted game state.
Always tough when that comes up, but Robert is taking it like a champ. I mean, he even in the moment was like, yeah, it's like, okay, we missed this, but it's okay. Like, happy that Robert's at least,
and that's because
okay
like walking it back would be a little unfair to any one person, because both players made the mistake of not communicating in the game state here.
Multiple searches, multiple other actions happening.
And random stuff has happened since then. Yeah, we drew cards.
Well, let's see what we're up to now as we go ahead and shuffle up.
Yep, so this is going to be the hard scripter effect to shuffle a banish card, and then non-target banish any card in the field. So
well, she can be targeted, though, because, again, level 6 or lower, and she is not level 6 or
she's
lower.
7. Yeah. True. It would have been fine no matter what. But this is going to be another one here because we're going to banish with MTPO7, get the search, and get the non-target banish with that effect because we still control a Malice Link 3 in the form of Red Ransom, even after banishing our Heart Scripter. This might just get rid of the Fusion monster, because I believe he needs to be sent to Graveyard to activate his effect, right?
That's correct. Destroyed and sent to the Graveyard. So here's the other thing. For Siraphob, is this kind of an all's well that ends well sort of situation? Because based on his line of play, if he couldn't target there, he still would have been able to do the White Binder combo to the banish instead?
Sure.
Yeah.
But now you might not have the damage, though, because normally the way you would kind of go for like a gameplay is by banishing the Hard Scripter using Access Code Talker, and then bring it back using that same using the same effect we just saw to pay 900 and summon it back and double its attack points. But now we can't do that.
Yeah.
So I don't know how we get the damage out of here. Oh, it's with another Bestial. That's how.
That'll do it.
There was one extra one in hand. Looks like a Baldrake, if I see that correct.
I believe Dormouse's regular effect, what's in play to banish from the deck, has not been activated. So these Malice monsters are still at their base power, except for Hard Scripter, whose attack is now doubled to 5,000.
Actually, yeah.
So just making sure we're keeping track of math here. We have 25, 23, and 5K. I believe Power Patron has like 500 defense points.
Yeah, very low, very low. And Graph Layer is only at 2,100, I believe.
But now we're going to link 4 into, my guess, Access Code Talker, clear the board with the different attributes we have, and then go poke, poke. That should be more than enough.
And here we go.
5,300 attack points.
So different attributes of Link monsters is how Access Code destroys multiple cards, and we at least have the Splash Mage in the graveyard as well. So that'd be water plus the darks.
And I believe Wicked is wind, right?
Yes.
Yes, it is.
So plenty of options there, and you really only need to get rid of 2 monster cards. So I think this may be all she wrote.
Yep, there's the dark. That's going to get rid of the Graph Layer.
Yeah, I was going to say I couldn't respond to Access Code anyhow.
Yes.
And then I'm going to try to go Wizard Effect to Special.
Okay.
I will target...
We still have more.
Wow.
Now, what are the odds that Robert has a Nibiru in hand?
Oof. Not 0.
Not 0.
There's always a chance.
Try to leave main phase.
We're going to go to Battle Phase here.
Okay.
We are leaving the main phase. Sounds good. Does not sound like Nibiru.
Yeah, because we're swing 15 at the Ard
So
Mage.
she's currently at 5, so I'll swing for 5.
And then there's the
Oh,
handshake.
there's the
There it is.
handshake.
I misplayed there and it cost me.
2-0 for Siraphob. Well done. But good sport from Robert. Very, very happy to see that.
100%.
Trying to get another turn out of it.
Yeah, Robert's certainly acknowledging it would have been nice to have Nerva to clear the field, but that may be a lesson he learns later. Here's the good news. He can still make it to our top cut, but Siraphob's moment is now. Managing to play through that deck. Just figured a way out, managed to get the combo, and he is the winner of this match.
And I still think very well piloted from Siraphob as well. I mean, Steven Rodriguez, you played a lot of Malice. There's a lot of decisions to make, and he was interacting with the deck that he was asking what all the cards do in the moment.
He was just like, okay, I want to make sure that if I went this line, you can't stop me. Oh, you can? I'll do a different one. He was very quick to react once he had more information, and that is the mark of a truly good player. Having that sort of cognitive flexibility is what you need to be able to play at the top tables of big tournaments, and I think Siraphob is well on his way to doing so at this event.
And that's the thing, some duelists say there's no chance anyone is going to play that deck, and maybe they don't learn the cards or the strategies. But if you do that, and maybe Siraphob did do that, it doesn't matter if you do have that inherent skill to just be able to figure out in the moment, right? And I hate to bring the anime in, but some duelists, they pre-plan that your Seto Kaiba staying up all night to figure out your side deck options like Crush Card. But some duelists are like Yamayugi, where they're like, I don't know what that does, I'm just going to figure this out.
And while we're talking about anime,
Heart of the cards.
we were briefly sort of teasing your outfits.
Oh, yeah. So if anybody noticed, yesterday I was wearing blue, and there was a reason I have the little tablet pin here. And so, yeah, today I'm wearing yellow, and I do have my wings Dragon of Raw.
There we go.
Yeah,
Right side up. There we go. We gotta
so
make sure.
tomorrow, I wonder what color I'm wearing. You can guess along, chat. Yes, it is.
Purple?
It is neon green. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Neon purple. Yeah.
Neon purple. I don't think I've seen that one.
No. You'll
That's
see.
Jinzo, I
But
think,
it's
maybe.
just
I
a
don't
reminder
even
that
know.
like so many people got their start from the anime, and I can't
Yeah.
believe we're here 25 years later since the card game began. But like Yu-Gi-Oh's still interesting and doing all these cool new things, and we're still seeing all kinds of great decks out there. So it's nice to kind of respect where we came from.
And now with the story and the cards, I mean, the Archmage cards, I'm happy we got to see them on Feature Match. The lore's fantastic. Go check them out as well, everybody at home. They're really cool cards. But I love it when you have new stories coming in printed on the artwork themselves.
It's one of those things, though, where it's a little bit of a cliffhanger. I don't know if you notice on Archmage Vandalism Assault, there's something breaking into the school, a big mechanical arm, but more on that later.
Is it,
More on that in the future?
The future.
Are we
probably
there
not
yet?
the RBs.
Eventually,
Can't be the RBs,
yeah, it does,
right?
I don't think it's the RB. I mean,
A big rocket coming down.
you know
They
what's
broke through the
wild, though?
TCG exclusive universe just to go into the main lore archetype and went, I'm going to pull you out of there with my big robot arms.
But jokes aside about the lore, it is really cool because we are seeing these new decks. I'm not going to say how many, but there are RB decks out there in the tournament as well. So there's RB, there's Archmage. I didn't take a look too much, but maybe there's some new Vel out there. You know, that's one of the new decks that I know you were
That is
playing.
fun, yeah.
Psychics,
There's a lot of new
Luna
stuff. So,
Lights.
and the new Sky Striker support.
I
too.
was going to
So
say, also speaking of the anime, the Sky Striker stuff out there.
Speaking of the anime, Luna Light is an anime deck. it is, and you're like, this is too good for an anime deck. Anime decks are good. Whoops.
Yeah. Gold
Turns out.
Leo is a great card.
It really is really
Yeah.
cool. Just a lot of cool stuff that's like inspired by the anime. You know those characters would use those cards if they had the chance. So.
Yeah. What would your deck be if you were an anime character? Have you ever thought about it? I feel like everyone's
I
thought
have my
about that
answer,
at
but I'll
least
save it for
once.
Steve.
I mean, what universe am I in? 5Ds, Yu-Gi-Oh?
That's actually a
GX?
good question.
Like,
I always go
that'll determine a
GX.
lot.
I always go GX, and that would be a Monk Fighter. Nobody played the Monk Fighter and Shoe Ski
fair.
deck. I would play that one.
I'm playing Roids in GX. Man.
That's-
I'm going to show
oh, that's
Cyrus
right.
how it's done with my machines.
I played Heroes during GX format, but if it was just like being a character, it'd be an Amazement Administrator Arlecchino.
You've mentioned this.
Yeah,
yes.
it's the long hair, it's the poppy suit coats, but forget about all that. Stages and performance. We got a stage. Why don't we go and throw it to one of our friends, shall we?
Let's do it, Jackie. Take it away.
Thanks so much, Stevens. And Siraphob, you are moving on to the third round. Let's hear it for Siraphob, everybody. Look at this beautiful crowd. How are you feeling?
I feel great. I feel great. You know, all my friends out here supporting me and a great crowd to watch the show.
And first time on stage, were you a little nervous or were you excited up there?
Most definitely a little nervous. You know, my boy Robert over here put up a really great fight. And, you know, yeah, the first time a little nervous, made some misplays, but we toughed it out.
Yeah, and you got that W. Talking about your opponent, Robert, were you a little bit surprised to see Archmage? Were you expecting that?
Yeah, to be honest, I was fully expecting it. No, I was not expecting at all. Like, nowhere expecting it. You know, I sided in cards that were not good for the matchup. You know, I unfortunately had to have him read the cards for me. I could have read it. It was just a lot of paragraphs, but my boy Robert pulled through.
Okay, and talk to me about using the Malice deck. Why did you decide to do that?
I got to shout out my boy Matt. He was the one that, you know, gave me the entire deck list. I'm honestly just a pilot. Whatever I draw in my hand is whatever I'm going to use. Yeah, shout out my boy. He basically put me on stage.
And what is your game plan moving forward now? I can feel like the energy and enthusiasm. So you on a roll?
I would hope so. I feel good today. My hands have been relatively okay, so we're going to stick with it.
All right, is there anything you want to say to the fans watching at home, this wonderful crowd?
Please learn your card effects. Archmage is a real deck. It's a real deck.
All right, thank you so much and congratulations again. Gonna send it back to our casters.